Y'all, I'm Jerry, about to check out the Smackdown 6's impactful story. This video is by Wrestling Premiere. The Smackdown 6 consists of Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Chavo, and Eddie Guerrero, all in this tag team program that was written by Paul Heyman off camera. And the backstory of it is on TV. Far as was Smackdown was just bringing in new tag team titles, and Stephanie McMahon was the general manager at the time on Smackdown, so she decided to have a tag team tournament to crown new tag champs at No Mercy that year, 2002. So it was different partners around the thing, but it was also Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle was like the most watched team of the whole tournament, because they had to forcefully work together and coexist. If not, both of them would be suspended. Both of them would be suspended for a year from SmackDown. So off camera, Paul Heyman kind of put together the whole tournament, but on camera, that's what happened. So let's hop into this video.
With the advent of the brand split, the opportunity was there to steal the show and potentially increase your stock. Of course, if politics come into your way, there's nothing to do, but as evident as the coming years, many stepped up to the plate and brought themselves success. Eddie Guerrero's contributions to SmackDown in late 2003 brought him the WWE Championship and legend status. Rey Mysterio shined even brighter than he ever did in his career, and Benoit got a lot of the fans behind him to win the title at WrestleMania 20. Edge climbed to the top of the mountain and became the first person to win Money in the Bank. All this success stems from a little error in the 02-04 SmackDown time period, aptly entitled the Smackdown 6.
Yes, sir.
Paul Heyman at the helm of Smackdown in 2002, he realized that there was an opportunity to do something special with the talent at his disposal. At the time, the brand split was still in its early infancy, so a bunch of trades occurred. One of those trades turned out to be a huge gift for Smackdown. Chris Jericho, the man who main evented WrestleMania 18 only 4 months earlier, was on Smackdown. He's enrolled in a program with John Cena and is an ally to the Un-Americans. He gets traded to Raw in favor of Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero.
Yep.
Now, at the time, the writers, the producers, they were shocked that Heyman even offered Jericho for those two, and in a way, they felt like he was ridiculous for letting go such a huge
That's
amount.
the mastermind of Paul Heyman.
And Guerrero never really went above the mid-card scene and were still perceived as the wrestlers, whereas Jericho was not only that but an entertainer. So the trade was accepted. Benoit and Guerrero joined an elite roster featuring the likes of Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and of course, Kurt Angle. So what was the SmackDown 6 talent's credentials? Chavo Guerrero, a respected worker who's captured the Cruiserweight title in the past. Yep. Eddie Guerrero, solid mid-carder who's won just about every mid-card title, be it the WCW United States Championship, the European Championship, and of course, the Intercontinental Championship. Rey Mysterio, already one of the most influential high flyers the world of wrestling has ever seen. His blistering pace coupled with his world-class timing made just about every match of his must-watch. Chris Benoit, highly respected worker whose approach to professional wrestling is almost unmatched. With a career and talent like his, all that was missing was a world title run, and no, this doesn't count. Kurt Angle, 4 years into his career, and already is considered one of the best to ever grace the squared circle. Angle learned the basics in record time and added his flair and charisma to enhance the WWE roster's quality. Angle was only getting started, and then there's Edge, one of the young talents with the most potential. Edge from day one displayed charisma and had this special intangible to him. By 2002, he's done well for himself, having some of the most outstanding matches on a weekly basis
against Kurt Angle.
Full of titles such as the King
a great rivalry against Kurt
Intercontinental Championship. Some of these men interacted with each other in the past. Edge and Angle had a feud recently.
Angle and Benoit.
But the real beginning for me, when the SmackDown 6 officially began, well, I'd say July 25th, 2002. On this night, Rey Mysterio made his long-awaited debut, and instantly this man was sensational. Overnight, this man's already one of the most popular. Of course, WCW fans knew him, but for those that had no idea who he was, they were instantly fans. This is around the time where Stephanie brought Benoit and Eddie to SmackDown after Eric Bischoff was stealing some of her talent. Immediately, these wrestlers were interacting with each other, and one thing to mention is that the commentary called them the future of SmackDown. Rey Mysterio's early success led to Angle being a detractor. To make matters worse, he lost to Rey in a 6-man tag and was beside himself. He was like, oh, I got pinned by a 12-year-old. He complained about Rey being the illegal man and even an illegal citizen, and the man was making short jokes. Rey, meanwhile, was all about proving himself at SummerSlam. Angle thought this was going to be
that was a good match they had between the two of them.
I mean, in his eyes, it's a kid. Also, Angle was on this whole Carlton Banks,
a great match.
Some random ass stuff, acting like him entirely. It was hilarious. Now, Rey was well aware of what was in front of him. He also beat him in the past, so the newcomer was confident. Kurt, though, felt he tied that mask on too tight, and in order to make sure Rey knows who he's facing, he should sit on a booster chair to watch him wrestle. Oh, man, the roasts are coming in non-stop. Of course, Rey ended up interfering and got Angle counted out. With these two in form in their prime, fans were going to witness one of the greatest opening matches in SummerSlam history. From the beginning, this thing was incredible.
Great SummerSlam event.
Setting the stage for the night. It's like a game of cat and mouse with Angle constantly going after the ankle and Ray jumping around making his life hard. Eventually, though, he's caught and Angle ends the game, forcing him to tap out. Superb match, insanely fast and leaves you wanting more. Later that night, Eddie Guerrero and Edge had a nice match that proved to be forgettable when looking at this time period. Edge may have won this match, but the feud intensified over the next couple of weeks. Eddie cheated to win in the rematch and added insult to injury. At the same time, his nephew Chavo began teaming with him, but it did not have the best start because Eddie's face was deep in his ass crack. That said, Eddie made good on his pretty face promise and busted Edge up ahead of Unforgiven. At the same time, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit started a feud that
Bro, they had a great match in Unforgiven.
Laughing about it. These two are finding joy in the others' struggle, and hell, they were screwing each other over despite being tag team partners. This of course led to them losing, so Angle gave Benoit an angle slam and screwed up by adding insult to injury. Similar to SummerSlam, Unforgiven was a success on the SmackDown side. Eddie's cheating ways did not prove to be his downfall here, as he managed to pull another tactic to steal it. Later that night, Benoit and Angle engaged in a technical classic. That's the easiest way to describe this match. And Benoit only won it because he cheated. Otherwise, in kayfabe, they would have wrestled for a lot longer. September 26th episode of SmackDown provided one of the most memorable matches to come from this era of SmackDown. Edge and Eddie Guerrero in a no disqualification match. Eddie wants Edge's face rearranged. Edge wants redemption. From the beginning, it was intense and neither man was letting out in terms of aggression. Chairs and ladders were used in this affair to settle it because while they faced off again in the future, it was never as intense. The match was so rough that it left a lasting impression on Edge's neck. Some spots in this match could have gone bad in a moment's notice. When you see something like this, a match so hellacious, violent, and exciting, you're wondering, like, it main evented, right? But it didn't because Angle, Benoit, and Ray went out there at the end of the night. Edge emerged victorious by the skin of his teeth and moved on to something special. Eddie too. You know how at a restaurant there's a small dish before the main course comes out? Consider this part of the video to be that, because from here on, it's the main course. On the October 3rd, 2002 episode of SmackDown, Stephanie McMahon made a couple of announcements. One of those announcements was for the new Tag Team Championships. A tournament is going to be held for those titles, and the tournament saw several random tag teams. Brock and Tajiri, John Cena and Billy Kidman, and with the tournament...
I advise y'all to watch those episodes of SmackDown.
Confident about their chances. They had chemistry and experience unlike just about every other team in this tournament. They also made fun of Benoit for his problems with Stephanie and were also convincing him that Angle's taking a year off, he doesn't want to be his partner, this and that. But egg fell on their face once Angle opened the door. Even then, tempers flirted between Angle and Benoit over the whole Guerrero conversation. He wanted to know what's up, and all Benoit did was stare at him. Now, I don't know if John Cena traveled to a future era, but he looked far too strong here. Even then, the Eagles won the match and got into it over the ref raising the other's hand. Brock Lesnar, meanwhile, was about to carry Tajiri.
I might watch that
and it's not
episode
like Tajiri needed any carry,
after
but
this video.
Brock Lesnar. All Tajiri had to do was not get in his way, and because he didn't do that, he lost. The tournament was in the semi-final stage, and Edge and Rey Mysterio punched their ticket to No Mercy with a victory over Devon and Farouk. Los Guerreros, though, were anything but worried about Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. Their semi-final match was excellent, as is the usual. Edge and Rey returned the favor from earlier on and attacked Angle and Benoit as well, and the tweeners had an uphill battle. Not only were their egos a problem, but Los Guerreros had experience and were in sync, unlike them. Of course, this one had so much drama. Angle and Benoit bumping into each other, the ref being knocked down, will he attack his own partner? In the end, though, Angle and Benoit were on the same page, and so they won. Of course, one of the reasons they're buddy-buddy is because of the threat of being suspended. Stephanie's like, oh, you attack.
They had another match at
Another is Eddie lying to Benoit
Insurrection.
attack, but of course the main reason is the fact that they're going to No Mercy. Okay, this one was expectedly outstanding. I mean, it's Ray, Benoit, Edge, and Angle. Anything other than that would be disappointing. But not only was it good, it was great, amazing, iconic Hell Match of the Year, and that's saying something. The year was filled with so many tremendous matches, yet for the most part,
that was match of the year.
Someone, hey,
2002.
what's the best match of 2002? They say this. And
No
for
Mercy
reason,
tag
they
team
heard
match.
around the spot during the match was so damn iconic. And it all came down to the simple fact that Edge tried beating Angle at his own game, and so he tapped. Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, the rivals were tag team champions.
Kurt
One of the
became
best
a
tag
Grand
team
Slam
matches of all
champion
time.
that
Since
night.
Angle and Benoit were the first tag team champions, they were rewarded with a trophy. Angle agreed with Stephanie that he should have set aside his differences with Benoit, and because he did, that's why he single-handedly got the win at No Mercy. He was ready to take that trophy home, but Benoit had something to say. He told him to put his ego aside and said that everyone knows he, Benoit as the captain. And if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have won the title. And if Stephanie didn't put that stipulation in,
it
it would
wasn't
have
for
kicked his ass.
me.
Angle said he won the match, making him a star and Benoit the supporting player. And they're bickering over this SCR 2006 trophy, and they ended up knocking down Stephanie. Why? Because. Well, there's actually a reason. Because they're crazy. They have big egos. All that. She slapped Angle. Benoit's laughing, and she follows up. Stephanie was pissed over this and booked the match between the two so the winner could take the cheap-ass trophy. Of course, the way they were wrestling, it's hard to believe they were partners. It was a good match, but me saying it is redundant. Lost Girls once again.
They had great chemistry. Every match that they had together was 5 stars.
By destroying the trophy. If I can't have it, nobody can. This wasn't the only match involving the Smackdown 6. Edge and Ray beat Los Guerreros to earn a title shot, but me mentioning every single match would be a struggle and would probably ruin the pace of this video. That said, the Halloween episode of Smackdown is probably one of the strongest you'll see from this era.
Yep.
Edge and Benoit have a good match. Edge reveals because Angle has too much drama with Benoit, and he goes on a hideout because of it. He couldn't stay for too long because he was booked in a match with Eddie Guerrero. That was as expected, even with the time, and once again interference from Benoit, who claims his territory as the last man standing. Good. It went from bad to worse for the champions as they had a brawl at the party. Even at the party, they were fairly even on offense, and it all came down to Angle.
This would have been a memorable Smackdown moment had Benoit did what he did in 07.
Now, November proved to be the month where the Smackdown 6 was winding down. Lost Girls were annoyed at the fact that Edge and Rey Mysterio received the title shot while Eddie was the one who beat Kurt Angle. Stephanie reminded him of how they lost to Edge and Rey, and she saw how eager Eddie was to face the champions. So she booked them in a match with Brock Lesnar. Edge and Rey, meanwhile, had their title match, and it was going to be 2 out of 3 falls. Edge and Rey were far quicker than the champions, whereas the champions were far more methodical. The good guys had the ability to just kick up the pace, and with this sudden seated senton, they won the first fall. Angle was pissed. They were behind him.
That match was so good.
Benoit. So he went to work.
I feel like that match was even better than the No Mercy match.
Edge almost had the match won. So Benoit blasted him with the title, leading to the ankle lock, which gave them the fall. All that teamwork, and they're still fighting. After the commercial break, the champions were properly integrated into the match. Rey Mysterio was struggling to break through, and even when Edge tagged in, his ankle was hurting. This greatly benefited the champions who singled out Edge and isolated him, which meant he was taking more damage. It also didn't help that Benoit was super aggressive and hungry just to hurt him. Rey finally tags, and it's the final third. He's got the hot tag boost, but Benoit's like, not on my watch. Rey still finds the drive and shows world-class timing to drop Angle and win the match. Oh wait, Angle's hand is on the rope and SmackDown goes
overtime
to a commercial with these two complaining. Afterwards, it's revealed that the match had been restarted. The champions were desperate to not let this opportunity go again. Mysterio was taking a beating, but he found something with a DDT. Edge tags in, and he's got the fighter behind him. Angle locks him in the ankle lock, but Edge rolls over 619 in the spear. 1, 2, Benoit dives onto Angle. Rey makes a save, and Edge goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, new champions. Awesome. Superb match. Really shines bright as an underrated match in the grand scheme of things because we usually talk about Angle and Benoit Unforgiven, the No Mercy and Survivor Series matches, but this shit
2 out of 3 falls match was good.
It's that damn good, and if you disagree, well, go watch it.
I think that was the only tag team 2 out of 3 falls match that they had
Captain who won the last match. History. I have more teeth than you. I have more hair. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. And meanwhile, Los Guerreros told the champions that their luck is running out. The Rey and Eddie match is, as expected, quality. Angle and Benoit was just an ass-kicking contest with nobody emerging victorious because of Angle stealing Eddie's move and causing an all-out brawl. He caused all of this and now he's tapping. But everyone came out of this beaten though. Through all of this, the two egos were up and ready to fight. Things cooled down and Angle resolved the issue in awkward fashion. Even then, at Survivor Series, problems arose between the two, and Angle knew where this was going to go, so he tried to ease things. Their match with Los Guerreros and the champions was probably the only time
I didn't really like that match.
Featured at the same time. Angle and Benoit clicked just in time and watched this one. It's a shame that they never followed up with a sequel of this match, because for certain it would have been better. Angle and Benoit's issues over trust cost them and they were eliminated. Los Guerreros and the champions ended up having a quick sprint, which ended after Chavo blasted Rey with the title, leading to the lasso from El Paso and Rey taps. Good match. Not a level of
that was the last interaction that they had all together.
But it's still almost better than anything out there. The relationship between Angle and Benoit was still very tense. Neither man gave a damn if the other took a beating, but they still had one more match for the tag team titles. The fans were craving Kurt Angle in the match. Benoit's taking a beating, but he's forced his way out of their corner and Angle's in. This meant the team was at their best. Benoit's on one side dropping them with Germans, and Angle's doing the same on the other. Angle signed to Los Guerreros. They have the titles won, but ego once again. These guys, they didn't want to see the other actually win the match and carry the team. They double team Eddie. He's tapping, but Angle knocked down the ref. Chavo connects with this frog splash, but it's still not over. Eddie goes up top, Angle catches him, and Chavo blasts Benoit with the title. Eddie goes for the cover to retain the titles. Good. It's obviously centered around Benoit and Angle rather than the champions. You know, the story is mainly about how Angle and Benoit are going to operate as it was in a bunch of their previous matches,
Yeah.
even more so here. Los Guerreros reign supreme in the tag team division over Edge and Rey.
They held the title for like almost a year.
You're thinking, hey, is this over? Well, they went out with a cracked up main event on the December 5th, 2002 episode of Smackdown. Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and Edge faced off in a fatal four-way match to determine the #1 contender for the title at Armageddon. This was probably the best match involving the Smackdown 6, except maybe No Mercy. Kurt Angle and Edge in the final parts of the match displayed world-class talent with some great-ass near falls. Every move felt like the one to end it, but then it came down to the Super Angle Slam, and Kurt Angle was the #1 contender. So that's the Smackdown 6. Of course, they interacted with each other throughout this era, but it was never as tight as it was here. Every week there would be some sort of combination of the 6 men. That said, Angle and Benoit had that iconic match, the Rumble. Eddie and Chavo continued as Los Guerreros, and it ended at the right time as it didn't overstay its welcome.
Yep.
Each match was good to great to amazing, and the talent was really going all out on a weekly basis. Like, I'm just watching these matches and thinking to myself, how did Angle have the ability to pull out all these matches in a 3-month span? What made the SmackDown 6 so special was Paul Heyman trusting them to just go out there and do whatever. He saw these men and their ability and constructed a program that brought SmackDown higher ratings than Raw. Of course, they're not the only ones. Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker. and Tori Wilson were 2, but they played a part.
Yep.
Like when you see that graphic with Edge and somebody like Kurt Angle, you know what you were getting. And Edge himself said this on the Kurt Angle show about a year ago. When we started the idea of the SmackDown tag titles, I knew with those six talents, and I'm sure Paul thought this as well, I could mix and match every week. No matter what mix or match it is, they're going to crush it. Whether it's Eddie and Edge one week and Benoit and Rey, or Kurt Angle and Chavo. And then flip them the next week and then flip them again. I mean, there are so many scenarios. You can go with that. To me, that again, so much fun. It obviously couldn't have gone on forever, but I wonder if Heyman would have created a sequel of this if he remained in power after February of 2003. But the SmackDown 6 is always a positive from this era of SmackDown. You know, somebody mentioned, hey, what's a good thing from this era? This is one of the first things I think of. And it came down to some simple scouting from Paul Heyman to bring these guys together.
In this era.
Alright, that's it for this video. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This wasn't the original video for today. I actually wanted to do WWE 2003, but it was going to be impossible. I went with this. That said, I'm currently working on
Great video, by the way.
the script, and we still got to get the stills and all that, so it's going to take a while. Hopefully next week, but I enjoyed making this one. Alright, what do you guys think of the SmackDown 6? Please comment down below, and that's the first video. Make sure you hit the Angle Slam on the like button, and perhaps the 619 on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.
This is a great video, man. This telling the whole backstory of the whole SmackDown 6 interactions and how they were put together, and by Paul Heyman being a genius that he is, and just seeing talent for what, from athleticism and like from an entertainment standpoint, and making that trade for Eddie and Benoit, and trading Jericho to Raw, and then allowing Benoit and Guerrero to come to SmackDown, and just putting them together, and then they're creating the whole SmackDown tag team tournament. And just, man, just the interaction was great. Like, my favorite matches were the Kurt Angle and Benoit Unforgiven match. I like that. I love that match right there. And the Royal Rumble match too. That's my favorite one. The Royal Rumble match. The Unforgiven match second. Then I like the No Mercy match that they had, and that 2 out of 3 Falls Count Anywhere match. Falls Count match on SmackDown that they had between Rey and Edge and Benoit and Guerrero. The Survivor Series match, I really didn't like. This like my least favorite match out of the whole SmackDown 6 era. But overall, man, this was a great video, man. Let me know what y'all thought of the video and the SmackDown 6 storyline, and I advise y'all to check out those episodes of 2002 of SmackDown. And that's all I gotta say. Peace.